सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओं. We have completed in chapter 5 up to 7th sloka. We will just do the recap of 7th sloka and go forward. In the previous chapter, in the previous class, we have discussed about two ashramas, mainly the sannyasa ashrama and the gruhastha ashrama. The advantages and disadvantages in both the ashramas we have discussed, and we also have discussed that there is no superiority in any particular ashrama in terms of getting the result. One who thinks they are different in giving the result, they are not having a clear understanding of the scriptures. So both sannyasa ashrami and gruhastha ashrami are entitled for moksham. As far as the karma phala is concerned, both are entitled. So this should be the understanding. Some people will have an understanding that only sannyasis will have moksham and gruhasthus are not entitled for moksham. This is not correct. So in this portion, Paramatma clarified that both are entitled for moksham. Now, majority will take up the gruhastha ashrama because sannyasa ashrama is very difficult. It is only prescribed for a matured and prepared mind. One who has a prepared mind, one who is matured. Only for such a person, the sannyasa ashrama befits. Otherwise, it will be very dangerous. And there is another thing, once you become a sannyasi, you cannot renounce sannyasa ashrama. You have to live with it. So this is a one-way traffic. So one must understand, one must analyze oneself before taking up the sannyasa ashrama. So this way we have discussed the various advantages and various disadvantages. And Paramatma said for majority of the people, sannyasa ashrama is not good, whereas a gruhastha ashrama is perfectly suits. For that matter, we have many jnanis in the gruhastha ashrama. Gruhasthu parampara is also there. I have given various quotations. We have completed the first portion called the nishtha portion. There are two portions in this particular chapter. One is called sadhana, other is called nishtha. Nishtha means the lifestyle. So there are two lifestyles. One is called sannyasa lifestyle, other one is called gruhasthu lifestyle. The sannyasa lifestyle is the lifestyle of renunciation, whereas a gruhastha ashrama is a lifestyle of family life, and this is a pravrutti marga. Sannyasa ashrama is a nivrutti marga. So that way we have studied the nishtha, the lifestyle, in the first portion. With that, the first portion is over. Now Paramatma wants to elaborate about the sadhana. Sadhana dvayam. There are two sadhanas. What are the two sadhanas? Karma yogam and jnana yogam. In sadhana, it is mentioned that there is no choice at all. Everyone has to take up the karma yogam and then jnana yogam. One has to take up karma yogam, cleanse the antakaranas, and take up jnana yogam. So there is no choice as far as the sadhana is concerned. Whereas ashrama, we have a choice. Yogayukto viśuddhātmā vijitātmā jitendriyaḥ sarvabhūtātmabhūtātmā kurvannapi na lipyate. Yogayuktaha viśuddhātmā jitendriyaḥ sarvabhūtātmabhūtātmā kurvannapi na lipyate. This is Anvayam. Now, in this vijitātmā, jitendriyaḥ, viśuddhātmā, three words Bhagavan has used. Vijitātmā jitendriyaḥ, having mastered the body and sense organs. Viśuddhātmā, the pure-minded yogayuktaha. Yogayuktaha means karma yogi. Karma yoga yuktaha or karma yogi. Sarvabhūtātmabhūtātmā, the Atma, which is the self of all beings, who recognizes the very same Atma is pervading in all living beings, which is the self of all things. Kurvannapi na lipyate, though he is in action, he is not affected by the punya or papa. That means having mastered the body, mind, sense organs, having disciplined the body and sense organs, having achieved the pure mind, a karma yogi recognizes the Atma as the self of all beings. Though in action he is not affected. This is the meaning. In this particular sloka 7, we have a word called yogayuktaha. Yogayuktaha means equipped with yoga. So, what kind of yoga it is? Karma yoga yuktaha. Karma yoga yuktaha means the sadhaka becomes a karma yogi. First he has to become a karma yogi. What is this karma yogi? Karma yogi has both the materialistic objectives as well as the spiritual objectives. He did not give up the family. He is in the family doing all kinds of vyavaharam, doing all kinds of laukika vyavahara, the family the deeds, but he has got an inclination towards the spirituality. Therefore, he can lead two different kinds of life, vyavahara life and also the adhyatmika life. He will have two channels. One is a vyavahara channel, the other one is an atma channel. So, when he is in vyavahara, he does it with full enthusiasm, with full commitment. He does the work. But at the back of the mind, he is always with Atma. So he is not after money. He doesn't run around for the money. A karma yogi knows that he is a mixture of Atma and Anatma. Therefore, he leads both the types of lives. That is vyavahara as well as the paramarthika. He does all pañcamo for spiritual upliftment. So, he can contemplate and concentrate on Atma. So, his life is not predominantly ardhakama. He has to take up the dharma also as a main ingredient in his life. So, he balances between the spirituality and the vyavaharam. So, he has to climb the corporate ladder. That is not at all wrong for him. But that should not keep him away from the spirituality. So this is what a karma yogi does. Yogayuktaha. Yogayuktaha means karma yoga yuktaha. This is how a karma yogi behaves. So for him, it is not that how much I have, what I have. He doesn't care for what I have, but he cares for what I am. So it is always what I am than what I have. So this is the priority for a karma yogi. Karma yogena yuktaha. So by karma yoga, he is equipped. Mayi sarvani karmāṇi sanyasya dhyātma cetasa nirasi nirmamo bhūtva yudyasya vigatajvaraha. If one wants to become a karma yogi, he has to follow three things. First one is he has to prioritize the spiritual thing, spiritual endeavor. And second thing is whatever the work he does, because he is a grihastha who is out and out in action. So whatever the action he performs, he has to dedicate it to Ishvara. Ishvara arpana buddhi. That arpana buddhi must be there. Then whatever comes to him as karma phala, he should be in a position to accept it as a Ishvara prasada. So three things. Prioritization. Prioritization for what? Prioritize his life towards the spirituality. Then Ishvara arpana buddhi, Ishvara prasada buddhi. These are the three things a karma yogi has to take up. Then the second word used here is viśuddhātmā. Viśuddhātmā means with a pure mind. The mind is contaminated with 6 different shades. They are kama, krodha, lobha, mada, matsarya, moham. So these 6 shades will pollute the mind and will make the person away from the spirituality. So in order to make a person pure, a pure-minded person, so one has to grow beyond these 6 impurities. What are these 6 impurities? Kamam, krodham, lobham, moham, madam, matsaryam. So if one is beyond the 6 impurities, then he is called pure-minded. So he will not entertain any unhealthy thoughts. So such a person is called pure-minded. These unhealthy thoughts are called asuri sampatti in chapter 16 by Paramatma. So one who is in karma yoga, he will be automatically in daivi sampatti, and he avoids all asuri sampatti. So he will not have any unhealthy thoughts. Abhayam sattva sansuddhihi jnana yoga vyavastitihi danam damascha yajñascha swadhyayas tapa arjavam. Here he gives all various qualities. Abhayam, sattva samsuddhi, danam, damaha, yajñam, swadhyayam, tapam, arjavam. All these qualities he will acquire when he follows karma yoga. Then the third one is vijitendriyaḥ, vijitātmā, jitendriyaḥ. The third one used is vijitātmā, jitendriyaḥ. Here the atma, vijitātmā means this atma is not Sachidananda Paramatma. Atma is body. Visuddhātmā is pure mind. In that word viśuddhātmā, the Atma is mind. In vijitātmā, the word Atma refers to the body. So, we should see the difference. Though the same word is used, the Atma gives different meanings in both the samasas. So, viśuddhātmā, with a pure mind. Vijitātmā, one who conquered the body. Jitendriyaḥ, Jitendriyaḥ means one who conquered the indriyas. Jitendriyaḥ, one who conquered the indriyas, one who has absolute control of his indriyas. Sarvabhūtātmabhūtātmā bhavati. So such a karma yogi becomes a jnana yogi. How he becomes a jnana yogi? Earlier he is outwardly behaving. His mind is more into worldly things. Now he has made his mind towards Atma, antarmukudu. So he has made his mind towards Atma. He has become antarmukha. So what is the advantage of this? By jnana yogam, he understands his own real self. Earlier he was under the impression he is the body, he is the mind, he is the sense organs. Now he knows that they are all anatmas. They are only agantukam. They are only temporary things which are arriving and departing. Whereas his real self is Atma. Therefore, so sarvabhūtātmabhūtātmā. Sarvabhūtātmabhūtātmā means he understands his own real self. He understands this in 3 levels. The first one is, I am different from the body, mind sense complex. Just as we see this hand and analyze the light and hand, the light is different from the hand and it is not a part, product and property of the hand, like that we describe. Similarly, so my real self is not a part of the body, not a property of the body, nor it is a product of the body. It is, in fact, the body-mind sense complex is existing because of Atma, because of my real self. This is the first understanding. Then the second understanding is, this Atma is all-pervading. It is not only in me, not only in indwelling in my body, but it is also there in other bodies. The indweller of all living beings. The same Atma is the indweller of all living beings. Then the third one is, in fact, it is not that all bodies have the Atma. The bodies are within the Atma. Because Atma is all pervading, and within that Atma, even this entire universe is existing. Sarvabhūtastamātmānam sarvabhūtāni ca atmani īchyate yogayuktātmā sarvatra samadarsyanaha yo mam pasyati sarvatra sarvaṃ mayi pasyati tasyāham na pranasyami sacha me na pranasyati. So, till now, he is under the impression he is the body, he is the mind, he is the sense organs. Though he does not pronounce this exactly, but all his behavior, all his words, all his actions, they tell that he is the body, he is the mind, he is the sense organ. If anything happens to his body, then he is totally shaken. So, he will tell that his age is so much, he is son of so and so, his height is so much. Like that, he is so much attached with the body and the mind. Mind, he says, I am an intelligent person. I have so much of, education. I did this in such a university. Like this, he identifies himself with intellect also, body, mind, sense complex. And therefore, he imagines that is his real self. This is called deha abhimanam. This deha abhimanam will keep a sadhaka away from spiritual life. So, deha abhimana tyagam. So, one has to renounce this deha abhimanam. This will lead to karma abhimana tyagam. So, once you renounce the deha abhimanam, once you realize, renounce means not that you are taking your body, mind, sense complex away from you. You are living, in fact, in body, mind, sense complex. Only when the body, mind, sense complex is there, all this discussion, all this sadhana continues. So you are not going away from this. Deha abhimana tyagam means you understand clearly this deham, manaha and indriyas, they are anatma. They are not the real self. They are only lower self. This body, mind, sense complex with chidabhasa is the lower self. So that is not your real self. Your real self is Atma. When you have this deha abhimana tyagam, then that will lead you to karma abhimana tyagam. So all these karmas, all these actions belong to Sariram only. All these actions, they belong to the body. So dharmi abhimanam will lead to dharma abhimanam. This is the very fundamental concept which Shankara Bhagavad Pada wants to learn in Brahma Sutras. So he starts his commentary with this. Kurvannapi na lipyate. So such a jnani who understands that his real self is Atma, so he is not tainted by karma, he is not affected by karma, so he will not accrue papam or punyam, because he is not attached to any karma. Kurvannapi, even though he is, in the mid of actions, na lipyate. Na lipyate means he is not tainted by action. Imagine that you are traveling in a car, and car is moving at a speed of 80 kilometers. You don't gasp. You don't do any panting or gasping, because you know that you are not galloping. It is that car which is galloping. Therefore, you don't gasp or you don't pant. You don't do panting. You don't gasp or you don't do panting. You don't gasp or you don't do panting. So, in the same way, prakrute kriyamanani gunai karmāṇi sarvasaha ahankara vimūḍātmā kartāham iti manyete. So, a ahankara, one who is egoistic person, he thinks that he is doing everything. So, because of me this is happening. So, I did this. So, like that, who is, fully attached with body, mind, sense complex, such an ahankara, such an ahankari, he feels that kartāham iti manyate, aham karta iti manyate. He thinks that he is doing the action. Whereas a jnani who is united with Atma, he knows that the body does its work. It is the duty of the body and it is the lookout of the body. I am not doing any action. As Atma, I am only witnessing principle, a witnessing consciousness. Therefore, Atma is a non-doer and non-enjoyer, akarta, abhokta. So, a person who is attached with the body becomes a karta. Therefore, he also becomes a bhokta. So, such a person is referred as viśuddhātmā by Krishna Paramatma. On the contrary, tattvavit mahabāho guna karma vibhāgayoh guna guneshu vartanta iti matva na sajjate. So, a tattvavit, a jnani, understands that this body, mind, sense complex, they do their actions. The indriyas, they are always in contact with the respective vishaya vastus. So that is the natural thing for the indriyas. So like that, each guna, guneshu vartante, the body, mind, sense complex does its work, and it is not that I am doing the work. Iti matva na sajjate. So, understanding this way, a jnani is not affected, a jnani is not tainted, a jnani doesn't accrue any papam or punyam. Now we will see the sloka number 8 and 9 together, because they both form one full sentence. Naiva kiñcitkaromīti yukto manyeta tattvavit pasyan śrunvan sprusyan jigran anasnan gachan swapan swasan pralapan visṛjangṛhṇannunmiṣannimiṣannapi indriyāṇīndriyārtheṣu vartanta iti dhārayan. So, these two slokas will explain the mindset of a jnani. So, pasyan api means, so all these pasyan, śrunvan, jigran, all these are in, these are called shatru pratyaya. In Sanskrit, it is called continuous tense, present continuous. So, pasyan api, even while seeing. Śrunvan means hearing. Hearing means even while hearing. Even while you have to add for everything. Sprusyan, even while touching. Jigran, even while smelling. Asnan, even while eating. Gachan, moving. Swapan, reclining. Swasan, breathing. Pralapan, talking. Visṛjan, evacuating. Grhṇan, receiving. Unmishan, opening the eyes. Nimishan, closing the eyes. Yukta, tattvavit, the disciplined knower of the truth. Manyeta means understands. Nakarōmi means I do not do anything. Kiñcitkaromīti, anything at all. I am not doing anything at all. Even though he is doing śrunvan, pasyan, all these are verbs. So many actions are happening here. Pasyan, he is seeing. Hearing, he is using his ears. Touching. So that way, a lot of actions are mentioned here. So, a tattvavit means one who understands the tattvam. He understands yukto manyeta tattvavit indriyāṇīndriyārtheṣu vartanta iti dhārayan. He understands that these sense objects are in contact with the the sense objects. I do not do anything at all, bearing in mind that the sense organs remain in sense objects. That is the natural thing. Even while seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving, reclining, breathing, taking, evacuating, opening the eye, closing the eye, the disciplined knower of the truth, that is jnani, understands I do not do anything at all. Bearing in mind that the sense organs remain in sense objects. Now take the example of our Shankara Bhagavatpada. He travelled from Kanyakumari up to Kashmir, and he had that Sarvajña Peetham there. So, how did he travel? Not by any airplane or by any, ratham or all that. He traveled by foot. So, he traveled all through. He went to Himalayas. We see that Joshi Matam. Wherever he went, he established these matas. Mainly those matamnayas you can see in all four corners of India. One north matam, south matam, east and west. We have got four matamnayas. For us, the south matam is Sringeri matam. So he established all these matas. Then he had debate with a lot of scholarly people and established that Advaita is the real meaning of scriptures. Advaita is the essence of scriptures and Bhagavad Gītā. That way, he also established Shanmata Sthapana, 6 matas he established. That is Shaivam, Shakteyam, Ganapatyam, Kaumaram, Vaishnavam, Sauram. So earlier, these people, they were not knowing the puja vidhi. How to perform puja, they were not knowing. So each were doing according to their own whims and fancies. So he systematized the entire process by establishing 6 matas. Now today we do this Purusha Vidhanena, Sri Sukta Vidhanena. This method is given by Shankara Bhagavatpada. And he also given that Panchayatana Vidhi. So he has given Shiva Panchayatanam, Vishnu Panchayatanam, like that, he has created amity between different schools of Indian philosophy. So all this talks about action. So he is more active than any gruhastu. So having performed so much of action, he did not accrue any punyam or papam. Naiva kiñcitkaromīti saha, kurvannapi karmāṇi, naiva kiñcitkaromīti saha. Even kurvannapi karmāṇi, even though he performed so many actions, he is not tainted by karma phala. He doesn't accrue any agami karma. Why? What is the speciality? So the speciality is same for sannyasi as well as gruhastu. The speciality is vairagyam. Karma phala abhimana tyaga. So he renounced the karma phala abhimanam. So one who renounces the karma phala abhimanam, so he will not accrue any papam or punyam. naiva kiñcitkaromīti. So such a person, even though he is in the thick of things, even though he is in the mid of actions, he is not doing any action. He doesn't reap any punyam or papam. Our Pujya Swamiji Dayananda Saraswati tells that you need not, inculcate prama, you need not inculcate compassion. Compassion is a natural outcome. It is naturally we are all compassionate. So, why we have become so selfish? What is the problem? The problem is we have covered our compassionate behavior with selfish nature, with selfishness. So, when you are free from deha abhimanam, when you are free from the body mind sense complex syndrome, then the innate compassion, the innate virtues will come out on its own. They become a natural outflow. Bhukti mukti pradatacha tasmai sri gurave namaha. So whatever he does it with dharmic nature. Deha abhimanam will lead a person to adharmic things, whereas the deha abhimana tyagam will lead a person to the dharmic life, the dharmic actions. Sthita prajnasya kabasha samadhis tasya kesava sthitadi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. So, in the second chapter, Arjuna poses a question to Krishna Paramatma saying that how will a jnani behave? How will he walk? How will he talk? How will he sit? Like that, he poses a question. Then Paramatma says, it is that Sthita Prajna also will have emotional feelings, but he can come back to his normalcy quickly. He will come back to the normalcy very quickly. That recovery period is very quick. That is how often he is disturbed, how frequently, FIR we call it, how frequently he is disturbed. His frequency is very, very less. Very rarely he bursts. A jnani, loses his temper very rarely. Frequently, he doesn't lose his temper. Then intensity, to what extent he loses temper. So his, the amplitude of losing temper is very low. He doesn't show the outburst in a great way. So the intensity is very less. Then recovery period, coming back to his own elements, his own composure. He comes back to his normalcy very quickly. So FIR, this FIR is what we call the jnani's state. From what to so what state. If one comes quickly, that means he has achieved the target. Gita teaches you this kind of mental attitude. What to so what. One millionaire, he was having, so many, industries, running business, globally. He got a phone call saying that his factory got into fire. Everything turned into ashes. So he is, in a fit of, disappointment. He says, what? Then immediately his jnanam acted like a shock absorber. Then he comes back and says, so what? So this what to so what? How quickly you come back will tell you whether you are a jnani or not. A patient is almost on the deathbed. He won a lottery ticket of 10 lakhs. So they were wondering, his successors, they have to take his signature, and they were wondering if he knows this, he will die immediately. So how to safeguard him? So they wanted the suggestion from the doctor who is treating him. They told him the situation. This is the situation, we have to take his signature, we have to tell the fact, but we are not sure whether he can stand it or not. Then doctor assured, don't worry, I handled many cases like this. I can tell him and make him understand without any emotional outburst. So he said like that, and he went to that patient and he said, look, if you win 10 lakhs in a lottery, what will you do? It is only a supposition. Suppose you win, what will you do? Then that patient forgot that he purchased a lottery ticket at that juncture. He said, I will give 5 lakhs to you because you are saving my life. If I don't have the life, I cannot enjoy. You are the contributor to my life. So I will give you half of it. 5 lakhs, I will give you spontaneously. So he declared. Then the doctor collapsed. So this is what to so what. So when it comes to one's own self, you know whether you can absorb it or not. So indriyāṇīndriyārtheṣu. So all these indriyas, they are made up of pañcabhūtas. So these pañcabhūtas, they are working in the pañcabhautika prapancham. So some people, they understand that by running away from this world, they get peace. Or they go to, this meditation and sit for hours and hours and get peace. But once you get up again, the samsara lingers. So, what Gita tells you, you need not escape from the situation. Only thing is, you have to understand indriyāṇīndriyārtheṣu. This is the nature of these indriyas. So, they are always in contact with the indriya vastu, vishaya vastus. So, they do whatever they want to. But you should understand that you are the Atma. You are the Atma, so indriyāṇīndriyārtheṣu vartante iti dhārayan. So it is the indriyas which are in contact with the indriya vastus. So it is not I am in contact with the indriya vastus, because I am Atma, I am asaṅgaḥ. I don't come in contact with anything. Asaṅgoham ayam puruṣah. So I am not in contact with anything. Aham naiva kiñcitkaromīti. I am not doing anything. So this is the understanding. Here we have to see that a river is flowing in its full strength. So if you just leave it like that, the entire water goes to the ocean. It will go west. So what you have to do, you have to dam it. You have to construct a dam and hold the water. And if you simply hold the water, what happens? The water level increases and it will enter into the towns and cities, and it will merge the people, houses, and it will create a lot of calamity. So it is not simply constructing a dam. You have to channelize the flow into the crops. So if you channelize the river, then it is put to use. So this is how you have to do. Indriyas, they are bound to be in contact with the indriya vastu. So what you have to do is you have to process these indriyas and see that they are in contact with the things which are desired. This is important. It is not running away from the indriyas, running away from the body, running away from the mind. No. It is training the body, mind, sense complex so that they are channelized and they are in contact with the right things. Bhadram karno visṛryaṇgrhṇannunmiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣannimiṣ Shanti mantras is. So, eyes must see auspicious things, ears must hear auspicious things, then the tongue must talk auspicious things. Like that, everywhere that mangalam, whatever is good for a jnani, you have to take it up. So, that is the idea. brahmaṇyādhāya karmāṇi saṅgaṃ tyaktvā karoti yah lipyate na sa pāpena padmapatramivāmbasa. Yaha saṅgaṃ tyaktvā karmāṇi brahmani ādhāya karoti saha padmapatram ambasāyiva pāpena na lipyate. Ādhāya means dedicating. Dedicating what? Karmāṇi, actions. To whom? Brahmani, unto the Lord. Yaha saha karoti, one who acts this way, tyaktvā saṅgaṃ, without any attachment, na lipyate, he is not affected. Affected by what? Pāpena. He is not tainted by papam, he doesn't accrue any papam. Here, Paramatma is giving an example. Iva padmapatram, padmapatra iva ambase. So, in the water, the lotus leaf is there. Just as the lotus leaf, which is right in the water. So, all around it is water. Under the lotus leaf, water is there. Even if water enters onto this patram, it is not, having any effect. It just slips. If any slight air comes, the water slips away from the leaf. Because it is not held by the lotus leaf. Dedicating the actions to Lord, he who acts without attachment is not affected by papam, just as the lotus leaf by water. So we have two eyes, higher eye and lower eye. The lower eye, whatever it does, that is the natural thing to the lower eye, because guna guneshu vartante, because it is the body, mind, sense organs, they are always in contact. The sense organs are always in contact. The sense organs are always in contact with the sense object. The loka vyavahara will go on as long as the body, mind, sense complex continue. So you cannot avoid that. But you should know that you are different from that. Dedicating all actions by Ishwararpana buddhi, if you do the actions without karma phala abhimanam, without any attachment to what? Attachment to karma phalam, without having any karma phala asaṅgaṃ, then you are not accruing any papam. This is like, our freedom fighters. The freedom fighters, they had a lot of tough time. So these Britishers, they used to, punish them. They used to send them to Andaman and, apply third-degree punishment. So they were, tortured physically. They were tortured to a great extent. But in the mindset of these freedom fighters, they want that Vande Mataram. They never left that Ninadam. That slogan they never left. The moment they beat with a lati, they again shout Vande Mataram. So, does it mean that these freedom fighters are free from physical pain? No. They do have physical pain. But the physical pain is inferior to their sankalpa that they should get freedom for the entire country. So that with that sankalpa, they could withstand that physical pain. So here, jnanam will not give you a freedom from the physical pain. Physical pain will not be taken away by jnanam. Physical pain one will have, but only mental pain the shastram will take away. If you are an ajnani, what happens? Along with the physical pain, you also add mental pain and make it a bigger. This is the advantage. Brahmaṇyādhāya karmāṇi, by offering all your actions unto God, one does the work. Saha pāpena na lipyate. How? Padmapatram iva ambhase. It is just like the lotus leaf in water. A lotus leaf, there are two aspects in this. Where is this lotus leaf? Is it outside the water? No. It is right in the water, in the mid of the water. Though it is in the mid of the water, there is every possibility that it can get wet. But it is not having that wetness. Even if the water, comes onto it, it will roll like a ball. So it will slip away with the slightest wind. So Padmapatram ivambasi. Two things you have to understand in this. Padmapatram is in the water, but not affected by the water. In the same way, a jnani is in the mid of action. Jnani is very much in the action. He does action, but he is not affected. Saha pāpena na lipyate. So such a person is not affected by papam. So he doesn't accrue papam, he doesn't accrue punyam. So this is the idea. We will see more in these lines. So from sloka number 7 up to 25, Paramatma gives the explanation of the sadhana dvayam, that is karma yogam and jnana yogam. So we will continue on the next class. Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.